A good afternoon to you this Saturday. My name is Olive Burrows and you're tuned in to NTV at 1. We have two people live on location, that is Anita and Konge at City Primary, where Nat says it is due to make a major announcement. We'll be joining her shortly, and we'll have Lois Wangoi, who is in Baringo. The Deputy President is there for the consecration of St. Joseph SEK Church. Lois, how have the events turned out? Well, it appears Lois is having some trouble hearing me, but we will try to reach her. Meanwhile, allies of the Deputy President, William Ruto, says he will be running for president in 2022. Get this, under the United Democratic Alliance Party, a new outfit revamped by leaders who have since fallen out with the Jubilee Party leadership. The leaders were speaking in Uhuru County while campaigning for the party's London Ward MCA candidate in the upcoming by-elections.
Hakuna candidate mwingine wa deputy president katika London Ward isipokuwa Zuki Anthony Wachira.
Lakini nilijua sio Kang'ata, ni wale madikteta huko juu wanamwambia usipochukua tutakufanyia hivi na hivi na hivi. Kwa hivyo Kang'ata akafikiria ni watu wazuri, hata kama tulimwambia hawa ni madikteta na ile kisu wametumia na mimi pia watatumia na wewe siku ikifika. Na ikaenda hivyo na ikawa hivyo. Lakini hatuna ubaya, tukamwambia ukiwa huko ndani chungulia jua wanafanya nini, wanapika nini huko ndani, wanapanga nini. Kwa hivyo saa hizi tuko na ile inaitwa blueprint ya hawa watu. Si hata siku nyingine tunaona leader Murkomen akiwa na mlevi moja huko kwa TV.
Lakini sisi our focus ni William Samoei Ruto. Tunaelewana? Niwaambie hii London Ward, mukitaka muharibu equation ya 2022 ni huyu Nzuki anguke.
Sisi ni wale, sio ati tulifukuzwa mchana wa Kenya wakiona. Focus yetu tunajua candidate mwenye tunashindana naye ni Raila Odinga. Hii watu walikuwa hapo wasiwadanganya, hakuna Kenya mpya wanajua. Hii ni watu wamekuwa KANU, wamekuwa wapi? Sisi tumesema tutashindana na Raila Omolo Odinga ambaye tunajua ni our main competitor. We are not going to be distracted to chase small people who are trying to do mark timing and preparing the way. Those are John the Baptist preparing the way for Raila Odinga himself.
Afadhali William Ruto ambaye alisimama na rais wetu ambaye tumepatia respect, akasimama na yeye 202. Hiyo ni uongo ama ni kweli? Akasimama na yeye 2013. Akasimama na yeye 2017. Hata wakati wa hii ilikuwa inaitwa nini? Hii repeat. Alisimama na yeye. Basi tumeona huyo ni kiongozi ambaye ameshikilia Uhuru Kenyatta, na ndipo sisi watu wa kutoka Mount Kenya tuko nyuma yake.
I did mention that we have Lois Wangoi on standby in Baringo County, where the Deputy President was attending the consecration, it is, I think, consecration of the St. Joseph Church, and that is an ACK church there. Let's hear what's happening.
A very good afternoon to you, Olive, and of course to you, dear viewer. Apologies for that small technical hitch earlier. And as stated by Olive, we are coming to you live from Baringo County, where Deputy President William Ruto is staying with his visit in this particular county that began yesterday, where he attended a burial ceremony from about 9 a.m. to right now as we speak. Deputy President has graced the commissioning of St. Joseph's Catholic Church, and he's currently attending a celebratory mass in that particular church. From there, we expect that the DP, flanked by the leaders or his close allies in the political scene who are here, will find their way to Kabarnet town, where he is expected to have a meet with the residents of Baringo. The DP's visit here in Baringo is quite significant. This is seen as a Deputy President's effort to try and consolidate this particular region, his home region, even as he continues continues to prepare proper for his presidential bid come 2022. It will be interesting to see how he interacts with the residents of Baringo at Kabarnet and how that will go about. Remember, Baringo County is also the home county of Senator Gideon Moi, and for the longest time this county sort of had a clear political line when the late President Moi was in power, and for 24 years they took that clear direction of following Nyayo za Mzee Moi, if you may, during his life and times. Following the death of Mzee Moi, both leaders from this region, that is Deputy President William Ruto and Baringo Senator, both have seen making tremendous efforts to try and inherit a pie of the vote-rich Baringo region. In the afternoon, we expect that the DP will be visiting the neighboring Elgeyo-Marakwet County, where we expect that the area senator there, Kipchumba Murkomen, will be his host as he attends a particular fundraising, and we will be looking to see how politics will unfold at that particular county. Remember, the area governor, Alex Tolgos, is also someone to see how they will relate on this particular afternoon, granted that he is a huge supporter of BBI and a close ally of President Uhuru Kenyattas. So currently we're waiting for the Deputy President to finish attending the celebratory mass here at Kituro in Baringo County, and where he will make his way flanked by the leaders or his political allies at Kabarnet town. And we will now be looking to see how he is received, how politics will play out, and what message the DP will be giving to the residents of Baringo this particular afternoon. Of course, for much more, we'll be coming back with that political story in our later and subsequent bulletins. Just to note, the residents have started turning up in numbers to receive the DP, and these will form part of our story later. For now, back to you in Nairobi, Olive.
Thank you, Lois. It will indeed be interesting to hear what the Deputy President has to say when he visits Kabarnet. And you can see behind her supporters of the UDA party flying their flag high. Cabinet secretaries and top Jubilee administrators are crisscrossing the country to drum up support for the Building Bridges initiative. Senate Majority Leader Samuel Pogisho says the completion of ongoing government projects and the success of the BBI will cement a desirable legacy for the current administration.
Pokot Senator Samuel Pogisho, accompanied by Water Cabinet Secretary Cecil Kariuki, were along the Kenya-Uganda border and in West Pokot County, inspecting government projects. It is here that the two confessed that all CSS and the Jubilee top government officials are under pressure to complete all ongoing government projects under their ministries and ensure that BBI sails through as part of President Uhuru Kenyattas' legacy.
BBI is founded on the need for a peaceful coexistence as a country. And therefore, if the president is rooting for even investing in peace dams so that there is peace, it is important we also note that BBI also comes to cement that as a legacy for the president.
Nataka watu wasihusishe siasa na BBI. BBI is about livelihood ya watu. It's about 35% of Kenya's resources going to the counties. All of us, hata mimi nikiwa pale Senate, we will all be under pressure. Kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Uhuru anataka legacy yake iwe hiyo. Na watu wasichukulie tu hivi legacy ya mtu, you don't joke with the legacy.
In Lamu County, leaders are conducting door-to-door campaigns to sensitize residents on the contents of the document. Lamu County Assembly is expected to debate and take a vote on the bill on Tuesday.
Ikiwa BBI haitopita, Lamu tutapokonywa eneo moja la bunge, kaunti nzima itakuwa ni kiti kimoja cha bunge. Na sisi tunataka hivyo. Basi kwa sababu hiyo, moja kubwa na muhimu, ndio mimi nikaamua tusimame na BBI.
The constitutional amendment bill has now been passed by 11 counties against 1. Leaders in support are confident of achieving the constitutional threshold of 24 counties before proceeding to the legislature.
Senate na National Assembly ikipita hapo ndio itarudi kwa wananchi kama sisi ndio sasa tuweke msasa wa kutosha.
Kama BBI iko na makosa kidogo, sisi tupitishe kwa ile uzuri wenye iko. Mazuri yenye tuliona kwa BBI ni kwamba kuleta pesa mashinani. Kuongeza pesa wapi? Kwa watu wetu. Kwa maana shida ni mingi.
Proponents say the aim is to hold a referendum within the first half of the year. Vincent Odur, NTV.
From matters politics to matters Locust, and the government and the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, have intensified efforts to control the locust swarms, which pose a threat to food security in the country. Kitui County is now the latest to suffer the ravages of the niggling pests. NTV's Melita Oletenges on that beat.
Warding off locusts has now become a daily routine for farmers in up to 16 counties since a second wave of swarms invaded the country. For local farmers, this is the only way to protect their produce.
Zinge zilifika huku kwetu jana, zikaingia kwa mashamba, zimekula mahindi, zikakula ndengu. Zimeleta uhalifu mwingi sana kwa mashamba yetu.
Those who are doing horticulture, especially those who are growing onions and chaos, where they invented those farms, there is a lot of some destruction.
The national government and the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization have kicked off pesticide spraying exercise across the county as part of ground control exercise.
For the second wave, it has found us when we were much better prepared as compared to the first wave. One is because we had all the predictions that we may have the second wave here. And two, we had done a lot of preparatory work as a country during the first wave.
Strategic challenges cited by FAO include the need for regional collaboration in combating the pests which have been migrating into Kenya through Ethiopia and Somalia. FAO has set up bases in the country to counter the invasion.
We have over 1,600 of trained ground troops. And these trained ground troops, we activate them depending on where Locust is taking us. And as we talk today, I have about 900 of them that are all active.
The government says 33,000 hectares invaded in the first wave are now under control, with the remaining 7,000 hectares spanning 6 counties now left. Melita Oletenges, NTV.
Monoline transport service providers have pledged to collaborate with the National Transport and Safety Authority towards the compensation of families who lost their kin in a tragic road crash in the Soisambu area in Gilgil a week ago. 9 lives were claimed. Speaking at 2 separate burials of those who died in the accident, Assistant Chair of the Monoline Company, Kibera Mushai, faulted the driver of the truck which hit the matatu and caused the deadly crash. AIPCA Bishop Elijah Mwiro, who presided over the function, called on government to hasten the process of expanding the Rironi-Mau Summit dual carriageway to avoid future accidents, which mostly involve heavy commercial vehicles and public service vehicles.
Ndio alikuwa tegemeo langu, ndio nilikuwa nikiwaza, na shida yoyote ndio nilikuwa nikimuelezea na ananitimizia, na sasa ninaona kabisa ni kama nimekosa tumaini.
Tukitaka kuungana na familia tuone ya kwamba kuanzia mwanzo huu mpaka mwisho haki imetendeka kwao, na yule mwenye ile la gari ajue ya kwamba ni watu waliopoteza maisha, asije aka exchange pesa na maisha ya binadamu.
Environmental and health risks posed by excessive use of chemicals in farming are increasingly becoming a major concern and have led to the adoption of new eco-friendly methods of agricultural production. Agro-ecological farming, an adaptive method which combines local and scientific knowledge to cope with climate change, water scarcity, market volatility, and other production elements, is fast gaining popularity among farmers in Kiambu County. We caught up with one such farmer in Deya. Well, before we get to that, I did mention at the start of NTV at 1 that we have Anita Nkonge at City Primary, and we expect that the Kenya National Union of Teachers have what they say is a major announcement. Let's head there.
Yeah? Are you live? Are you ready? Yes. So, members of the Fourth Estate, yeah. Members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, may I take this opportunity to welcome you to NAD Nairobi branch general elections that are still ongoing. And as you can see, our members are still casting their vote, and we hope to close voting in the next 1 hour. And we would like to thank the teachers of Nairobi for turning out in very, very large numbers and exercising their democratic right to choose their leaders. As it is always the practice of Kenya National Union of Teachers since 1957, we have never failed to conduct credible and verifiable elections in all our branches and at the national. As of today, we will have covered 83 branches, and we will be remaining with only 27 branches, and we hope to wind up by 20th of March. It has been very unfortunate that we've conducted elections without resources. You know too well the challenges that the union is going through, and these are systematic anti-labor attacks from the employer, the Teacher Service Commission, and by extension the government. We may not exonerate some arms of government also for getting involved in this arrangement, because when KNUT won a case against a number of contentious issues with the Teacher Service Commission, that is one, whether head teachers should be members of the union, the court returned that head teachers are unionizable. And that is a practice all over the world. And indeed, it is what TSC was seeking the court of law to abolish and to stop heads and administrative staff from participating in trade union activities. This would have been very catastrophic, and this constitutes an attempted attack on Article 41 of the Constitution under Chapter 4 of the Bill of Rights. And that would have seen close to administrative staff stripped of their right to membership. Number two, on the method of promotion of teachers, which is already very clear in law. Teachers can only be promoted under the provisions of the Code of Regulations for Teachers. The Code of Regulations for Teachers is a subsidiary legislation of the National Assembly that recognizes the number of years a teacher has practiced teaching, because the more you practice, the more you get ingrained and you become a better teacher. Number two, on merit, because teachers excel in different ways. That is one aspect that the law recognizes through the code and the schemes of services for teachers. And lastly, and that item which has attracted contestation is the promotion of teachers according to new qualifications. Those are provisions in the code and the schemes of services, which TSC was seeking to overturn it and replace with the career progression guidelines, which only seeks to promote teachers on the basis of performance of learners. You know, you cannot use performance of learners to gauge the ability and work of a teacher, because performance of a teacher is so broad, it may not be guided strictly and exclusively by career progression guidelines. But the court returned that the career progression guidelines were illegal. And that was a big win for teachers. And that means TSC has to promote teachers in accordance with the code. We've since gone back to court and will be in court on Friday 26th with contempt charges against the chair and the CEO of TSC for failing to comply with court orders. And where we are at the moment in this country is to deal with rogue officers and state officers who are not complying with the provisions of the law and defying the orders of the court.
Now, Secretary General Wilson Sossion sharing his grievances with the executive, with the media there at City Primary, where they're holding elections. That leads us to our first break. We'll be back shortly.
We keep running faster and faster. I don't know what we're after yet. I'm always checking my phone and you're happy being alone, man. I got you on my always on my mind.
All the days and the nights, reading for them and to them. You don't stop, and neither do we. Help build a strong foundation for your growing child with Nestle Nunkid. Nestle Nunkid 4. Our best for you.
The Ministry of Health would like to remind all Kenyans that coronavirus is still among us and that we must continue to adhere to all preventative measures to contain the spread of this deadly disease, including proper wearing of face masks.
Avoid wearing your mask under your nose, under your chin, because this doesn't protect you. The droplets can still land in the environment and things can still land on your nose and mouth.
Komesha Corona. Okoa Maisha.
Mhasibu Sacco Society Limited is a reputable Tier 1 Sacco for all professionals. We pride ourselves in business stability and growth, having been in existence for the last 35 years with an asset base of over 6 billion shillings and over 18,000 members spread across the world. All professionals should join us to benefit from competitive products, high qualifying credit, attractive returns, and services automation. Join us and attain your financial independence. Mhasibu Sacco, the Sacco for professionals.
What is family? Family is a solid foundation to build on and a strong pillar to lean on. It is believing in each one of us for the betterment of all of us. Family is working together today to win together tomorrow. It is creating opportunities for a lifetime of happiness. It is knowing we are valued, respected, understood, and most of all, supported. The future is bright because you can always bank on family. Family Bank, with you for life.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
My director CK informs me that was our first and last break on this edition of NTV at 1. 2 drug traffickers have been charged in a Mombasa court for drug trafficking after being found in possession of heroin worth 5.8 million shillings. Said Abubakar and Mwanasomo Bakari denied the charges before senior resident magistrate Rita Amwai. They were charged with being in possession of 1,963 grams of heroin. The two were arrested by officers from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and the Anti-Narcotics Unit on Tuesday in Mombasa's Old Town. They will remain in police custody until the 15th of March 2021 when the case will be mentioned. The Nubian community in Kisumu, who were recently displaced after Kenya Railways demolished their houses, now want the government to resettle them in a new location. The houses were flattened 2 weeks ago in an operation to reclaim Railways land. Those affected were offered temporary dwelling on county government land, but are now asking for a permanent solution to the problem. The residents are also appealing for help since their living conditions in the camps are not ideal. Area Member of Parliament Onyango Koyo has also asked the government to come to the aid of the displaced persons.
Shida yenyewe.
Hii ilifanyika hapa sio vizuri. This land was always here. There was enough time to engage these people directly and even through their leaders like me. I want to say that the Constitution provides for something called public participation. I was never informed, I've never been informed, and I'm appealing to the government that the same government that enjoys the protection of the Constitution must be in the forefront in making sure that every kipengele in the Constitution is adhered to and respected. Public participation, if they told me, I would have collected these people, convinced them, and then would have made good arrangement for them to move humanly. Waende pali, kama ni hapa, wakuje kama kuna nyumba, kuna choo, kuna maji, kuna stima. Sasa mnaona hapa this makeshift place, hakuna choo, hakuna vyoo ya kutosha, hakuna maji, hakuna stima, and yet they expect these people to live.
I'm so sorry, we cut short a story when we cut to the NARD Secretary General Wilson Sosion, and environmental and health risks posed by excessive use of chemicals in farming are increasingly becoming a major concern and leading to the adoption of new eco-friendly methods of agricultural production. Agro-ecological farming, an adaptive method which combines local and scientific knowledge to cope with climate change, water scarcity, market volatility, and other production elements, is fast gaining popularity among farmers in Kiambu County. We caught up with one such farmer in Ndeya.
Our once bare land with nutrient-deficient properties is now a lush of green with flourishing crops and animal feeding from within. Sylvia Courier has turned her fortunes from this seemingly ordinary parcel of land in Kiambu County.
With time, we have transformed the place, and we have used a lot of ecological principles to actually transform the land. So the land was very dry, barren, and we had, the soil was it was almost whitish, it was very pale. And even when we did our soil testing, there was no nitrogen whatsoever. The soil did not have any nutrients at all.
Through tree planting, cover cropping, mixed cropping and composting, the soil has regained the required nutrients to comfortably support plant growth without addition of chemicals like fertilizers. Raw animal manure also helps nourish the soil with components vital for farming specific crops.
And one of the things that we have been doing over time is growing trees. Agroforestry is a very big principle in agroecology, because when you grow the right trees, they're able to create a microclimate and actually change the whole area.
Beekeeping has also played a vital role in pollination, while other insects kept here are used in pest control. The farm thrives on a symbiotic relationship between plants and animals in the wholesome food chain.
We also are planting trees that are fodder, because when it gets to very dry season, we don't have enough grass, we don't have enough fodder for our goats and our sheep and chicken. So what we've done, we've now, the trees that we've planted are also very good fodder for the animals, are high in protein, and the animals are growing very well. And if you're doing like dairy goats, they would do very well in an area like this, because with the trees they have like enough protein to produce a lot of milk.
Ndeya, Kiambu County is largely semi-arid area, and water conservation is critical to cut down on usage and production cost.
We have set up drip lines on the farm, and the drip lines are actually helping to maximize and save on the water that we have. As we said, we're in a semi-arid area, and the little water we get, we have to maximize it and make sure that it's not going to waste. So we use our drip lines, and then we cover our beds with mulch. Because even the way we've done our gardening, everything is in a bed. So it means that we are able to control the the planting, it's very easy for you to do your weeding or do your watering. And then the mulch helps to retain the water. Then the cost of pumping water comes down considerably. Because if you're able to use the drip lines and the mulch, then you can be able to ensure that you have, you can water your garden like twice a week, and it's normally very sufficient.
The farmers have been collaborating with the Institute for Culture and Ecology in the quest for a policy framework to guide the farming method.
For the last 1 year, we have been working very closely with the county government of Kiambu, especially the State Department of Agriculture, where we are working out a process that will lead to a policy development of agroecology for Kiambu County.
Sylvia is now urging farmers to embrace agroecology as a climate change adaptation method while cutting down on excessive use of chemicals to farm.
From agroecological farming to sports, and the sports personalities of the year, that is the Soya Awards 2020, will be recognized tonight in a special appreciation ceremony in Naivasha, Nakuru County. The sports people will be taken through a sensitization program involving issues affecting them. The topics include managing success, health and doping, as well as media and branding. The day will culminate with a scaled-down appreciation ceremony. There are 6 award categories, down from the traditional 18. The Nairobi City Stars are currently playing Zoo FC in the BetKing Premier League Match Day 12 at Kasarani Stadium. Later, Bidco United will tackle Mathare United at the same venue. Nzoia Sugar will welcome KCB at Sudi Stadium as Kakamega Homeboys visit Western Steamer at Moi Stadium in Kisumu. On Friday, Bandari FC beat AFC Leopards 2-1 at Mbaraki Stadium in Mombasa. William Awadri scored a brace for the Dockers as Ingwe's consolation goal was netted by Marvin Nabwire. Meanwhile, Ulinzi Stars won 2-0 against Sofapaka at the Kericho Green Stadium. National basketball men's team, the Kenya Morans, will take on Angola tonight in their second Group B match of the final round of the FIBA AfroBasket qualifiers in Yaoundé, Cameroon. The Morans, who need just 1 win to qualify, lost 69-51 to Senegal in their opening match. Kenya, under Australian coach Elizabeth Mills, will finish their qualifier pool matches against Mozambique on Sunday. The top 3 teams from each pool will qualify for the FIBA AfroBasket, which will be held in Kigali, Rwanda, between August the 24th and September the 5th. Kenya last featured in the Continental Showpiece in 1993. Premier League defending champions Liverpool will take on Everton tonight at Anfield in the awaited Merseyside derby. Last night, Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Leeds United 1-0 at Molineux, and the hosts took the lead just after the hour when Adama Traore hit a thunderous effort from distance against the crossbar, but the ball rebounded off the back of Ilan Meslier's head into the Leeds goal. This afternoon, Southampton will host Chelsea at St Mary's Stadium. Burnley will welcome West Brom at Turf Moor as Fulham play Sheffield United at Craven Cottage. On Sunday, leaders Manchester City will entertain Arsenal at Emirates Stadium.
Here we see the calculations go on. Heel against knee by the look of things. It's a tight one.
That's it for NTV at 1. I've been your host, Olive Burrows. God willing, I will see you again at 9 p.m.